What happened to the good-looking, ultra-popular kids that had it all in high school? Write in the comments what you think about it. What happened to the most popular kids in school? Enjoy the show. Story 1. Kid 2 grades older than me was a legitimate elite athlete. Tall, blonde, great leader, popular, insane physical ability. I played soccer with him, and even though he wasn't the most skilled, his 40 vert, speed, and 6'3" frame made up for a lot. He played basketball too and excelled, but his real sport was baseball. I'm not familiar with his stats, but he was heavily scouted by the MLB. He ended up getting drafted straight out of high school and put in the farm system. Scouts were calling him a top 20 prospect in all of baseball. Then when he was 19, he had sudden blindness, loss of sensation, and went in immediately for brain surgery where they found a cavernous malformation near his brain stem. He spent the next 2 years rehabbing and I think actually made it back to some minor league games. But then the tumor reemerged and he had to have another surgery. He retired from baseball at 22. He's had 20-plus brain surgeries in the past 13 years and wears the scars of it. His right side is completely numb. He has double vision because one of his eyes are locked in place, and half of his face is frozen. Today he's doing really well, all things considered. He coached baseball at our high school, he's an assistant coach in college, and he's actually a college student RN. He's married and had a kid a few years back. His story is surreal, like the most promising kid got robbed for no reason but still finds a way to persevere and inspire everyone. Story 2. I was not popular, but 2 years after HS, I ended up with one of the most popular guys. Turns out, that is because he was on the backslide, and everyone else knew he was becoming a loser. I had no self-esteem, and was just happy he looked in my direction. Well, we had a baby, and the douche was abusive, so I left him. Baby is now 30, and hasn't seen the jerk since he was 5. The popular ex has been in and out of jail for various offenses, including DWI, DV, non-payment of support, and more. I, on the other hand, got self-esteem and a new amazing husband in life. I like to say I won the booby prize when he picked me. Besides this very specific story, the rest of our popular kids did nothing special. They are normal. Anyone who really made it after HS was never popular. Story 3. The mean popular girl at my school is now a bodybuilder who does all the fake stuff. 2 big fake eyelashes, lip filler, fake tan, etc. She's genuinely such a beautiful girl without all the gunk. I wish she felt beautiful without hiding behind all the fake stuff. Hopefully she's nicer now than she was then. The nicer popular girl just got married and looks so happy. She loves doing dog shows with her 2 puppies. I hope both girls are happy and wish them both the best. Story 4. Hottest girl in my class ended up married to some dude she met in college. Now she is a housewife after getting a STEM degree. The dude got fat and she runs marathons and runs for local school board elections. 2 of the popular kids who were already coupled senior year got married, got great jobs. I saw them at her sister's wedding. They look the same as they did before. Like they work out way too much and are stuck in keeping the same weight they didn't in high school. One girl I knew ended up marrying this super nerdy dude from a neighboring town. No idea how that happened. 3 guys went to jail. 1 is currently a fugitive. 1 was with the AB for a while. 1 beat a girl almost to death. That guy almost broke my jaw in middle school. But I am the reason he can't have kids, LOL, so we are even. The one who was in the AB reformed and became a super chill dude after lots of rehab and lots of therapy. 1 is in high finance. 2 are cops. But I own a house in a big city and work just outside of NYC bitches and dated girls who had previously dated celebrities, so yeah, I feel like I won in life compared to them. Story 5. Well, not to rest on my laurels, but I was voted most popular, most handsome, and Mr. XX school from a relatively large HS. What happened to me? College was a blur. I partied a lot, was a loser basically. After 5 years of not progressing, I went from being the most extrovert in the room to extremely introverted over the realization of lost time and failure to meet perceived expectations. I met a beautiful girl in my late 20s who cleaned me up and saw potential, and I graduated, became focued, and I live a small, quiet life in a smaller town. Work a stable job, married with a couple kids. No harrowing stories of loss or fortune for that matter. I am quite happy and feel joy when I wake every morning. Story 6. On the plus side, I went to Ivy League undergrad, grad schools, and am an exec at a mid-size company. I make a ton of money and am married with 2 kids. On the downside, the rampant insecurity and narcissism that come with crazy expectations at a young age contributed to a nasty divorce and a fun addiction I get to spend the rest of my life sorting out. Story 7. I have 3 in mind. First one is married with a high-paying job and still eagerly climbing the corporate ladder. Second had some hassle with drugs, a violent marriage, but now owns a small phone repair company. Third went to the army, trained in special forces, went to a high-paying job in a bank and works 24/7, but still somehow has time to train enough to look like a Greek Hercules statue, spend time with his supermodel wife, and take care of their special needs child. The man's a superhero as far as I care. Story 8. My prom queen was a compromise vote. She wasn't actually super popular, but the other candidates weren't good people. So a girl with fairly low popularity won prom queen. She was literally a genius or close to it. She never took a course that challenged her intellect. At one point, she was a big anti-death penalty activist. The prom king was pretty popular and well-liked by everyone. He started an insurance business or something. I never got all the details, but he sold his company off to somebody else for a pretty big payday. One of the popular kids was rich and had a big trust fund. Before he turned 18, he started researching local companies to invest in. Right around when he turned 18, he invested about $250 or $300K in a small business downtown. In addition to some amount of quarterly profit, he also included a clause saying the company had to pay his college tuition. After graduating college, he sold his stock in the company back to the original owner for a tidy profit and started his professional life literally debt-free. These days, he's started and sold multiple companies and is even richer now than when we first started out. One of the other semi-popular kids became a country music singer. No, I won't say this person's name here. Not that it matters anyway, since I know them well enough to know, 1, that the name you might recognize is a stage name, and 2, where that stage name comes from. Most of the rest of the popular kids spent the intervening time since graduation marrying and divorcing each other. They never seemed to marry outside their original high school dating pool. They might have had it all back in high school, but after so many divorces, they don't have very much anymore. Story 9. Most popular girl got pregnant and married 4 months after graduation. The most popular guy was on his way to a party in another village when his VW Beetle caught fire and he couldn't get out because the seatbelt got jammed. Second most popular girl died in a hunting accident, and second most popular guy became a quadriplegic after a quad bike accident. Things did not look not much better for the others that were high on the list. All in all, I'm glad I was far down on the popularity list. Story 10. The worst bully at one of my high schools had everything handed to her on a golden fucking platter. Her rich grandparents died earlier than expected, and she inherited a fortune, lots of land, and a huge McMansion house. Married her high school boyfriend. Neither of them have ever worked a day in their life. Their money just gets handled by someone else. Had a few kids young, and were able to stay home and raise the kids. Found this out because someone got curious and hung out with her a few years after school finished. It's pretty bullshit, TBH. Story 11. The king and queen in my school, class of 1999, I don't know exactly what happened to their relationship, but they are no longer together. I think the king just sorta works not sure where, as I'm not friends with him on Facebook. No hate, just didn't know him. He was the head football player. I don't know football terms. LL, the queen works in healthcare management, not sure where. She had her first kid at 16 and has, I think, 2 other kids. She's living her best life. She's now married to someone new. Here's a crazy and drastic change. Very sickening. There was a kid I knew back in high school who was one of the most popular kids from maybe 3 years prior. He grew up, and years later invited me to his place where he lived in PA with his girlfriend and her daughter. I never went because I didn't want to drive something like 5 hours to the end of PA to visit him. About 8 years later, he deactivates his Facebook. I looked him up thinking, maybe I can reconnect with him in LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever. I find his mugshot. He had been having sex with his girlfriend's daughter from 18 years old. I'm a pretty understanding person. My original thought was, is there evidence? Is this real? I'm not the type to immediately condemn a person, especially for something so serious. Very fucking real. The dude recorded himself having sex with her, and she had some of the recordings. So she went to the police at 18 and showed the cops the recordings. This dude had some red flags I didn't realize until this happened. You don't think about some of those things as a kid. Something more sweet. Another very popular girl everyone wanted to date ended up as a teacher, and she got married to her high school sweetheart. She was always very sweet and very friendly with everyone, helped who she can. As far as I know, she was religious and followed it without trying to convert anyone. I hope the best for her, her husband, and her 2 kids. Story 12. IDK. Either I didn't know them or they were bullies to me. The only people who were nice and accepting were the stoners, the ones who wore all black and metal band shirts and would generally smoke during breaks. One guy in the group even painted his face up like Marilyn Manson. The jocks and popular athletes would mess with you if they found you alone away from the group, but they would never mess with the group. Heard people repeatedly called a freak. One guy was referred to as the chicken fucker. One athlete tried to bean one of our group with a basketball in gym class, not even trying to hide it, literally taking it and throwing it full speed in the center of the gym. I hated high school. Story 13. My siblings and I grew up alongside another set of siblings who were treated like gods all through school. They were not particularly wealthy, but their parents carried credit card debt and a mortgaged home to make appearances. Fast forward 20 years, and all three of them are addicted to hard drugs, have had children with crippling disabilities because of drug use during pregnancy, taken away, unrightfully reunited, have had their cars repossessed, and I just found out the person who is my age, M37, has not made a house payment since before the pandemic. Anyways, they all still behave like high schoolers. Story 14. There were three. All three are dead. Hit a drain culvert going 100 plus mph on a back road and driving drunk. I know because I was the paramedic who pulled his lifeless body out of the wreck. He had a girl with him who miraculously survived. She had to be airlifted. I didn't recognize her. The other, while popular, was also a known bully and got killed because he mouthed off to the wrong person and died after getting hit. Once, he got punched, he hit floor, he died. And the last was a girl who died of cancer. Sad one, that. Story 15. The girl who thought she was the best looking and was deaf, the ultra-popular type, only person in our year not to get into uni, has had a series of uninspiring jobs and her engagement ended. The girl, who actually was the prettiest, a bit meek and kinda bullied by the first girl, excelled at uni, heads a department in one of the biggest companies here in the UK, and is married to her HS boyfriend with 2 cute kids. Some people just have inflated egos, and I guess some others really do get to have everything. Story 16. I went to school with this guy. He was a great athlete, good-looking, etc., and also a bit of a class clown. He was also super smart and in all the AP classes. He got along with everybody because he had friends from all these different traditional cliques. Eye clowns, nerds, jocks, preps. Anyways, he's been a professional athlete for 10 years, married his high school sweetheart, who is equally charming and attractive, and generally killing it in life, from my POV. Happy for him. Story 17. The good-looking, ultra-popular kids from high school? It's a mixed bag. Some leveraged their social skills and networks to build successful careers, thriving in industries where charisma is key. Others faced challenges adjusting to life beyond the high school bubble, sometimes struggling to find their place. Many just settled into normal lives, finding contentment in everyday routines. High school was just a snapshot. Life's a marathon, and everyone's journey is unique. Story 18. One of the most popular girls in my class went to college and got a BS in chemistry, but worked as a bookkeeper. Then her situationship decided he didn't want to be with her anymore and put her out of the house that only his name was in. She went back with her parents and her 2 boys. She's still the sweet person. I always knew her to be, she just chose a shitty partner. It's ironic, too, because his father took off on him and he decided to do the same to his kids. Frigging love America. Story 19. The good-looking blonde went on to be very successful professionally, not so much romantically. She always had a strong sense of self, and so I'm not surprised that she would turn down matches that disrespect her if that was what happened there. She's still very outdoorsy. The good-looking brunette is also very successful professionally, now married and with kids to someone from her culture. Neither are super active on social media. They both shared queen bee status, were best friends, and were very kind in high school. Work all day, conscientious of parents' stuff, but threw parties at night, near straight A's, lacrosse and cheerleading. Good people all around. I'm glad to have gone to HS with them. Oh, there were no prom king type boys. It was all TC and SS and then the girls and boys who orbited them. Story 20. I truly hate to say it because they were snotty twats, but they had a dream life. Prom king and queen, him captain of the soccer team, her, yeah, cheerleader captain. They proudly went by Ken and Barbie. His daddy was a hospital administrator, hers was a big-time corporate lawyer. They both lived in bloody mansions on the water and looked like Ken and Barbie dolls, tall, blonde, blue-eyed. They were a power couple throughout junior and senior years. They had been together since grade school, but I met them in my junior year of high school. He and I played soccer together as well as track and field in the off-season, only reason he acknowledged my existence. They went to college together, both got law degrees, got married, had 2 freaking perfect kids. They now live in a mansion on the water near Mobile AL. Both retired early. He runs a dojo, and she teaches gymnastics, both for disadvantaged kids. Story 21. Split response from me. There were a flock of popular people I assumed had the best high school years in life. They always seemed incredibly happy and full of self-worth. Some continued to be successful and extremely happy, but quite a few I met years later mentioned how they wished they could have been more like the rest of us. In fact, one woman told me she always enjoyed art class with me as I didn't give a shinty about anyone, and she could relax for a class. My takeaway was it's wonderful from the outside to be that kid everyone wants to be, but everyone still has the same self-doubts as teenagers. Story 22. I grew up in a small Midwestern town where a lot of TTR good-looking, very popular people were also, mostly, straight-laced Christian kids who spent their free time doing activities with the local Youth for Christ organization or at their church. Most of them turned out okay. Not exceptional, but fine. Stable jobs, married, kids if they want them. The most wealthy, influential family in town happened to be Mormon. Not a lot of those in our area. And they churned out popular, good-looking kids like it was their job. One was in my grade. Appears that she is doing well, has a career, and also 3 kids. Living the Mormon dream. One girl who became a popular party girl before HS was even over is living Saint home with a job her parents gave her. And an alcohol problem. Story 23. After high school, I went to college for a few years and then joined the military, served overseas, and traveled around the world. When I came back, one of the first things I did is I went to my old favorite restaurant, and one of the most popular guys from my class was my waiter. He spent the whole night stopping by my table telling me who he was bringing to our HS reunion, which was 3 years away. The HS star quarterback dropped out of community college, ballooned up to around 350 pounds, was a raging alcoholic, had to have a liver transplant, and wanted to throw an after-reunion party at a bar because he couldn't come up with $100 for the reunion dinner. Similar with the women, I have run into a few of them waitressing or they're on FB single trying to flirt with guys from school who are divorced. Some have aged shockingly poorly. One female friend of mine from high school had a photo from at least 20 years ago as her profile pic. Then one day she posted a current photo and I couldn't believe it was the same person. It was physically jarring how old she looked. At a minimum, at least 20 years older than her actual age. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, like it, be sure to write comments and share your stories.